Welcome out to the Gametopia podcast. I am your host, Sam, and today I'm joined with
Jack
and James.
And today we've got a lot to talk about, actually. From PlayStation's recent announcement of PlayStation Now to Nintendo's rumoured new console. Some of our things. Anyways, guys, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I've been playing 3 games.
Ooh.
Mostly DOTA 2, as usual. But I dabbled in a bit of League of Legends.
Ooh.
Bit of a traitor.
Yeah, unlike Dota and League kind of like put against each other, like compared a lot, like.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah, what they call MOBAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So what you're trying to say is you're just whoring yourself out of the side.
Yeah, man. You're a double agent, Jack.
if any of them want to send us anything, we'll be grateful.
Yeah, because
Right.
if you want to bribe Jack, just give an email.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, James?
I've been playing more Dark Souls.
Oh, still.
I'm a masochist. I absolutely love it. I recently joined the Gravelords Covenant, which means I'll be hit with an absolute metric shit ton of red wraiths, and that'll be fun. Plus, I've been crying over the actual boss fight with Nito, because that guy's an absolute dick. It would be unbelievably easy if you didn't have about 50 skeletons who constantly were brought back to life, all flipping around doing somersaults with their scimitars right at your face.
What a bastard. What a scoundrel.
Aye.
Well, anyways, I tell you what I was playing. Conker's Bad Fur Day, but not for the N64, because it costs like, I think, £50 to get a used copy of that game. It's like that rare. But I picked up the Live and Reloaded for the Xbox about 2 years ago in the retro game shop in town. And obviously the HD remake, and everybody says, "Oh, don't play that one. You've got to play the original first, because to get like the actual vibe." But I can't find the original. I'm not going to pay £50 for a Nintendo 64 game. I'm sorry, especially when I can buy it for, I think I paid about £12 for it. Which, when you think about it, is actually quite pricey for an original Xbox game, because places like CX will sell Xbox games for like £2. I think I bought Deus Ex Invisible War for 50p once, so it's kind of a far cry from that, but I've actually been really enjoying it. I think the way I would describe Conker's Bad Fur Day, if you've never played it, is it's like, it's a very typical platformer, not really generic, but it's obviously like seems child friendly, but it's kind of like, it's got that whole South Park effect where you think, oh, this is like dead cute, this is dead good, and then you realise, just like how rude and like bad it is. Like, it's full of like toilet humor, and I actually really enjoyed the game.
Funny you should say toilet humor, really, considering one of the bosses
is a big giant shit.
Aye.
But I've been playing that, and I was actually playing a little bit of Banjo-Kazooie. Probably one of my favourite games of all time. Absolutely love that game. But you know what I really don't like about Banjo-Kazooie? Clanker's Cavern. Have you ever played it before?
Not that much.
I must admit, never.
See, Clanker's Cavern, right, is like, it's like so like dingy and just horrible, and just like, I don't like certain mechanics in platformers from that time. Like, I think Mario 64 actually got it right, and ironically Banjo-Kazooie came out a few years after, and it didn't get it as well. Like, it seems a bit clunky, I'd say. It's not as fluid as I'd like, and there's just this one bit in the game where basically you have to like, Clanker is Clanker. That's not an entity, isn't it? The Cankers. Clanker's like kind of like he's tied down from this mechanism at the bottom of the water. You have to go down and spin through like the like it's like a lever sort of thing, but it's really annoying because like it's obviously you're going to run out of air, and there is a fish there which like blows out air bubbles. But the problem is, you have to be so precise at times to get it, and I really hate that level.
Is it the sort of thing where if you hit anything, like touch anything, you die instantly, and then you have to redo the entire thing?
Oh no, it's not a hard game. It's like a 3D platformer, and it's generally not hard until the actual like the final boss. But I mean, I really do not like Clanker's Cavern. I don't think it's a great level. Like, it's kind of cool you can go inside them, yet kind of disgusting. But I mean, everybody, if you ask anybody who's a Banjo-Kazooie fan, they'll say that they absolutely hate Rusty Bucket Bay. I love that level though. Rusty Bucket Bay. I understand it isn't an easy level, right? But it's much funner, and there's less like water segments. Therefore, I prefer Rusty Bucket Bay over Clanker's Cavern. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to start discussing the news of this week, starting with the PlayStation Now. So we'll be back in a second. Welcome back to the Gametopia podcast. You're still joined with Sam, Jack, and James, and we're going to get into the news of this week, or the past 2 weeks. Basically, I want to talk about PlayStation Now. No, Jill's let me do her own sort of enrichment. Yeah. Sorry, Angela. Welcome back to the Game Trivia Podcast, and now it's time for the weekly news. So guys, what we're going to be talking about today?
Well, there's a lot in the news today. Well, the past week.
Yeah, lots happened actually. Mm-hmm. And I really want to touch on that PlayStation Now. So subscription, is it what is it? It's like the stream.
I think it's a stream-based service where basically you pay a subscription, and I'm not sure if you get unlimited access to the game library if you pay the subscription, or if you have to pay a subscription and pay separately for your games.
Yeah, it kind of seems like, is PlayStation Now, is it going to is it going to kind of replace PlayStation Plus? Because I'm already paying I think I get PlayStation Plus in sort of spurts of 3 months, right? Because I think it's good for your money. It's £11 for 3 months. Do I have to pay an extra subscription to get to play stuff on PlayStation Now? I mean, the thing is, right, what the games are playing on, they're still going to be streaming the whole, all, as much as the back catalogue of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games. How is that, meant to work?
I mean, assuming, getting the licenses and things like that are going to be pretty difficult as well, especially for the multi-platform. So we might just be seeing a lot of exclusives.
I can imagine though, I can tell you now, right? You'll probably get, you'll get Resident Evil, you'll get Metal Gear Solid, you'll get Spyro, you'll get Crash, you'll get all the big hits, but it's still, this is what I don't get, right? Because I was actually reading on The Escapist, this article I have here, about that, sources are saying that there's actually going to be PS1 and PS2 emulators to be heading to the PS4. So does that mean that we'll be able to buy PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 classics, like we're doing the PS3, where you just download it and you just play it off the hard drive like that, rather than having to be part of a subscription? That's what I don't get. And if that is the case, does that mean that my copy of Metal Gear Solid, which I own on the PlayStation 3, does that mean I get a copy of that on my PS4 for free? Does that mean, do I have to pay for it again?
I mean, well, to my understanding is there's one way you can buy just games, or you can pay a subscription, and I think you get so many games a month you can play.
Yeah.
But it's streaming, so the game's not going to be on your console. It's going to be somewhere else on a server.
On a cloud network.
And it just streams it to your console and you play it.
Yeah, that's kind of
You know how you said it has an emulator? Is it native HD, or is it kind of that weird?
Apparently, it's native HD. They're not gonna be doing poor upscaling like they did on the PS3. Which, I mean, I'm not really that bothered. I mean,
no, it's like for the Silent Hill remakes and stuff, the HD ones where they just obviously upscaled it horribly. It can completely ruin a game if you just upscale it. So I'm quite happy that you'll be able to get it in native.
Yeah. Well, the article says here that they will include enhanced visuals, similar to those found in the PS3 HD collections, which, just to touch on them briefly, I was going to get the Hitman HD collection, but I watched a review, and I thought the graphics looked hardly any different to the originals.
I know, they, as far as I can see, especially with the Hitman Blood Money, as well, because that was when to have its graphics slightly booted up as well.
Yeah, well, that was an Xbox 360 game, wasn't it?
But no, that looked exactly the same, even with like the slightly enhanced graphics. I said that was going to get. And the Hitman contracts and Hitman 2, those were pretty much identical. I mean, the objects themselves had a bit of a sharper edge to them.
Yeah.
Like, so it wasn't like a big smudge, but other than that, it was identical graphics.
Well, I mean, I've played a fair few of the HD collections. I mean, I played the God of War collection, and I've played some of the games of the Sly Cooper collection, and I was with Jack when I bought that. And I've also got the Jack and Daxter collection. Now, the thing is, none of these games I played on the original PS2, hence why I wanted to play them on my PS3. And they all look good. Like, I mean, Jack and Daxter came out in 2001, and that game is like a really nice looking game. And it did, you can tell, like, by the textures that it's a PS2 game. But the way they scale it doesn't seem like, like when I play, say if I want to play like Ratchet and Clank on my actual, like, I mean, actually, well, here's another example. I was playing San Andreas last night before I went to bed.
What a game.
And what a brilliant game. I love San Andreas. Definitely. I always think Vice City is my favourite, but I actually prefer San Andreas. It was really actually because I was listening to the soundtrack. I had Rod Stewart on, and he's got a good song on that game. So, but I mean, I was looking at the game, and I was thinking, my God, this game looks like pure shit. Because I'm playing it like on my 37-inch 1080p TV, and obviously the PS2, can't really render to that. And I mean, I've got the game on my laptop as well, and it looks beautiful on the laptop, to be fair. But like, you can tell, like, there's a massive difference between the HD game, HD upres, I should say, and the original standard definition. Like, you do get, like, your money's worth, I do think, because they are really cheap. They are meant to be for budget, but like budgets, because I think they launch at like £25, which is and doing getting 2 or 3 games, so it's pretty good in my opinion.
One thing I really like Sony for at the moment is that I never actually went to the PS3. I always stick with the Xbox 360, and so I only recently became a member of the PSN Plus network, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far with all the free stuff that I'm getting. It's quite a new experience.
See, my issue, right, because when I first got PlayStation Plus, I got it when came about 3 years ago. There's a big massive hacking scandal. I'd bought my PS3. It was in the February of that year, because I remember the day, because I remember getting up in the morning to get the PS3. I travelled like all the way across, like, where I live to find like a good deal, because I wanted to, because it was like, I wasn't sure what games I wanted other than exclusives. Like, and I remember, like, I eventually got one. I picked up Infamous, which I thought, oh yeah, I'm really happy I got one. I remember that same day, I actually went out with a girl and I asked her out, and that was kind of like, I ended up like getting a PS3 and a girlfriend on the same day. Obviously, I still have a PS3, but I just think I've always loved that story because it's just such a good day.
And the moral of the story, guys, is women may leave you, but game consoles will last
forever. My PS3 will hopefully last forever. But I mean, when I first got PlayStation Plus, and I thought, this is great. I really love it. And then I think I unsubscribed because I thought I'm already subscribed to Xbox Live, and at the time I was a really avid Xbox gamer still. And then it came to a point when I think it was at Christmas time, I got a free trial for PlayStation Plus, and I actually subscribed it for a few months. And then, because I own a 160 gigabyte PlayStation 3, my hard drive space went like that. And that's what upsets about my PS3. I love PlayStation Plus, I think it's a great idea, but I can only have like a certain amount of games on my actual console.
Yeah, like at some point or another, you're gonna have to get a bigger hard drive to try and cope with the amount of games you get.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now I come to the sort of point where I'm in, like, PlayStation Plus is great because I didn't want a massive collection, but it's like what I've noticed with PlayStation Plus is I've discovered games which I thought I would never have thought I would ever have ever liked.
Like Resogun.
Yes, like Resogun. I would never actually just said that.
You know what? We need to have a game with that online.
We do. Yes, we do.
Because I saw you could do co-op, and I was like, I should probably give you a game.
Well, I'm actually currently on the master mode of Resogun.
Oh, badass.
I'm proud of myself. I did pretty well with Resogun. Yeah, we should have a good game with that. I mean, although PlayStation Plus is great for that. I mean, I do have PlayStation Plus more from the PS4. I kind of wish, like, I mean, Little Big Planet Karting is a game on PlayStation Plus, and I've heard some mixed reviews about that. And
But hey, it's free. So.
yeah, exactly, it's free. But you know, I don't have free space for it. And I go to town. I think it's like £15. I think I'm gonna buy this, but I have it on I have a digital copy on PlayStation Plus, and I don't need like a full collection of games.
Can you not like take the game, like begin to start a download for it and then cancel that download, so you at least have it in your library all the time?
Yeah, you can do that. Like, it's gone off PlayStation Plus now, but I actually do still have that to download it whenever I want. I mean, I've still got Tomb Raider Underworld to download, which I downloaded like Christmas 2011.
Yeah.
So that's what I do like about PlayStation Plus. It is what it says. It's an instant collection. But here's what I'm thinking, right? Do you know PlayStation Now is going to be a subscription-based thing, and it seems that if games are being streamed, right, it'll be like so let's look at it, right? It launches in like July, right? I think it is June or July. Let's see, right? It launches with, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil,
The Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us,
Uncharted.
Uncharted. Let's just say those four games, right? So you have them from say like the 1st of July until the 1st of August, and then you don't get them back. Whereas they're just there for that limited time, which I mean will make you feel like I need to play this quickly, but that seems like you might be playing like a really long game, and like it might just go away. Is that? I mean, I don't know if the game's up.
Is that the way the system like that they're going to be implemented is designed, or is it?
I'm not sure.
Speculation.
I'm not sure. It is speculation.
Because I doubt they do that. I think they'd more have like a constant like game library you can always choose from, and when you pay your subscription, maybe you get to choose say 2 PS1 games, a PS2 game, and a PS3 game for that month or something like that.
But this is the thing: why are they not branding it though as PlayStation Plus? That essentially to me is PlayStation Plus. It's just being streamed. Like, why are they going to get rid of PlayStation Plus? That's what I'm thinking.
I think it's just going to be a separate service, to be honest. Like, I think you'll be able to stream games like backwards compatibility wise from older generation consoles without having to play them online and stuff. But like, because with Netflix and things like that, on the Xbox you need to have gold subscription to even get access to them, while on the PSN network, like, it's just straight up, if you pay the subscription to Netflix, you can use Netflix on the PS4.
Yeah.
PS3.
Well, what I'm thinking is though, right, like with the when it comes to PlayStation Plus, like, I do like it, but I do kind of like how at the same time I do like owning the game in digital or in hard form. Like, I have paid, I think I paid £7 for a copy of Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation 3 from the store. Now, that copy of the game is my copy for as far as I'm concerned. I, in a way, own that copy, and unless my account was to be deactivated or if PS3 died, or if they got rid of the store, my copy of Metal Gear Solid it's mine really. Yeah. Whereas what I don't think about PlayStation Plus is, I own Resogun, but if my if I can't afford it, but I like PlayStation Plus, that copy is not mine anymore. And that's what I'm thinking about PlayStation Now, where I don't mind with PlayStation Plus as much, but
I'm new to PlayStation Plus. So does it work where you have that game for free up until your subscription runs out, or is it just after your subscription runs out you keep that game and you just can't get any new free games?
So it's what happens is, right, so you see you're a member for PlayStation Plus, right, and the game of the month is BioShock Infinite, right? You download BioShock Infinite, that's your game. If your subscription runs out, you can't play the game. But if your what'll happen is if you resubscribe, you could play that game again. That's how it works. But I mean, I remember when I first, because with the whole controversy with the hacking scandal back in 2011, we got a free PlayStation Plus trial, and we got Burnout Paradise.
Oh, what a game!
My favourite racing game of all time. I had that, I should say, because I'm going to elaborate on the point. I have it on PC, Xbox, and I had it on PSN. What happened was, I remember playing Burnout Paradise right before I sat an exam. It was worth it. I don't care if I didn't do very well on the exam. Burnout Paradise is such a fun game. But what happened was, Burnout Paradise was one of those games where they didn't after like when they took it off the shop service, you couldn't rebuy it, you couldn't replay it. It was just
it was like a lack of support for it, sort of thing.
I don't know. I just think it was a temporary thing. I mean, let's keep in mind though, who published Burnout Paradise? Good old EA. So Alan 2 and 2. A bit dollar was probably a waste there for them, so they had to quickly monopolize on this and win the game of capitalism. But I think normally though, unless the company who's distributing the games an absolute total douchebag, you should have the game for as long as you're subscribed. Right. Anyways, moving on from PlayStation, Jack, you wanted to talk about Dota 2 for a bit. Now, I'm not a Dota 2 player. I don't think you are either, James.
I've watched videos of it, but I've never actually dabbled with it myself.
So you kind of have an idea of it, though.
Well, Valve is doing a Month of Bloom, I think it's called, or a Bloom event, and they're bringing 2 new characters, I think, and 1 game mode. I don't know what the second character is, but they're bringing Terrorblade, who was from the original Dota, and an interesting game mode, which is, well, the way it works is every hero starts level 1. This is with all like games like LoL and Dota, and then you have your abilities and you rank up by killing things, and you unlock more abilities. And each character has like a certain set of abilities depending on what they're doing. And this new game mode, I don't know if you get to pick or you get random abilities. So you pick a hero and then you pick what abilities from like a big pool of abilities.
Is it like not specific heroes? Is it just like everybody's is kind of stuck into one big pile? So you could be playing one hero and get like that, like a completely different hero set of abilities, sort of thing.
Well, my understanding is you choose it from ability by ability. So you choose a hero, then you choose ability from one, ability from another, an ability from another, and then the ultimate from another. So, which is very interesting, I think.
I think that could be quite good for the game, because how long's Dota 2 been out for now?
I think it's been out for a while, but it was in beta for a very long time.
But with something like this, it might add like a very new, fresh spin on the game. Yeah. So it might bring back the older players who are like, the game's beginning to get a bit stale. I'll move on to something else. Mm-hmm. Like if they bring this in, then it might be, I can now combine like this guy, and this guy's abilities with this person's like ultra or whatever. Like I'm not the greatest with Dota, and so then you can have like a completely different character just with the skin of someone else, and so like it could add like a whole new dimension to the game.
Yeah, that's very true, because I've played hundreds of hours of Dota.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm really bored of it, and I think this game mode actually might bring me back.
Yeah, like do you have a specific character that you always go to? Or do you have like a specific group of characters that you always go to?
Not really. I'll play anything, but I have characters that I'm good with and characters that I'm not.
Aye.
But not to toot my own horn here, but
no.
But when I play with characters that I'm good with, I tend to win a lot.
Aye.
And I find that very boring.
Well, with this game mode, you could also have a bit of psychological warfare coming in, where like, is there specifically a worst player, like worst character in the game? Because you could take the skin of that worst character and then apply the moveset of the best character to that worst character, and so everybody's like, oh, look at this guy, probably has like crap, and then next thing you know, he's kicking everybody's asses in there.
Yeah, but it's got to be some interesting combos, I think.
Could you tell that like the fans listening what actually is Dota? Now I'm aware what it is, but maybe they might not know, because it's obviously like a PC exclusive, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a MOBA, so you probably heard a lot about it with the war with League of Legends.
Ooh, but yay, it's the same fun.
It's the basic is you choose. There's a team of 5, and you all have individual characters, and there's 3 lanes, and you have to destroy the enemy's ancients. Alright, and you buy items to boost like certain, like there's items that can boost abilities or your like basic attack or your speed or stuff
So
like
there's
that.
just like buff after buff after buff.
Yeah, and there's little minions in Dota they're called creeps that you get gold and XP by killing them. So you start off rank 1 just by killing them, and then you slowly work up, and then you kill the enemy heroes until you're strong enough to basically attack their base.
Alright.
And that's the whole premise of the game. But if you don't play it, I would really recommend playing if you've got a PC.
May have to give it a go. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to have a little bit break from the gaming news because there's something which I personally want to bring up as a fan of wrestling.
Alright, I've got something after this since we're not doing gaming news anymore, but I'll let you go on with the wrestling.
Wrestling, basically, I'm a massive wrestling fan, and if anybody watched the Royal Rumble on Sunday night, which I stayed up till 4 in the morning to watch, because Vince McMahon loves to fuck with the English.
Right. Well, it's not Vince McMahon anymore. So
oh no, it's Triple H. Oh yes,
Triple
definitely.
H.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Well, basically, if you if you're unaware of wrestling, you may not really understand why this is quite annoying. But I mean, basically, Batista won the Royal Rumble. Now Batista has just returned, like literally not even like a week ago.
It was been out 2 years, isn't it?
4 years. It
4
was.
Years.
He
No
quit.
offense against Batista, but I think he's an incredibly boring wrestler.
Yeah, he's nothing special. Like
He's not a good actor either.
I know he's just he's a muscly man in his gimmick.
Yeah,
what's his
but
gimmick?
Vince
It's
loves
like-
like big men, doesn't he? You know, everyone's on the game. But I mean, the thing is, right? With Vince McMahon, it's like with Batista is he's just he wasn't like like out of that whole generation of like Cena, Orton, Batista, and Brock Lesnar. Batista, in my opinion, Batista and Cena are just as boring as each other.
Aye.
Batista was just kind of like an alternative to Batista was SmackDown's John Cena. Batista always wins, no matter what, even against the Undertaker and Edge. Yeah. It was, and I think Batista, and I think personally, one thing I need to say is stop blaming Batista for this, You cannot blame Batista himself for winning the Royal Rumble, because that wasn't his decision. That was booking. The creative decided for Batista to win, So yeah. I think that really kind of criticizing Batista as a person is the wrong thing to do it. And
well, didn't he come out doing the yes with the middle finger at some point?
Yeah, that. To be fair though, after the sort of reception he got, I don't blame him. Batista's just fuck this, I mean. Although the guy has been out for 4 years, he's still, and he is a bit boring. He still did, when he did wrestle, you got he did,
Yeah, he was a pro.
Yeah, he was.
He got to the place he got to because he was good. So.
Yeah, because Vince likes big men, and maybe because Triple H is his friend.
Ooh.
But I mean, I think first people need to stop having to go at Batista. I think you can't criticize the man himself. But you can criticise creative because creative are an absolute joke. There's so many times where I think that I could write a better storyline on my WWE Universe mode on 2K14. and in fact, I would actually want to. I'm going to take on a challenge one day and I'm going to do that. But I mean, the thing is, with Batista winning is, I thought that CM Punk or Daniel Bryan was going to win. And it made sense for Daniel Bryan win more than anybody. I did kind of like the idea of CM Punk winning and then facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania because I think Brock Lesnar has a title shot against Orton. But now I think they'll be doing a Batista versus Brock Lesnar, that whole Clash of the Titans type of thing, which, it is, to be fair, at the end of the day, it is one of those matches we've never saw. I wouldn't want to see Batista versus Orton. I saw that match so many times in the past 10 years. I'm pretty much sick of it. But I've just thought, Daniel Bryan has just so much, potential behind him. He has. I've just watched Raw recently because the crowd are just so behind him.
I've got to admit, I haven't watched wrestling in a while. Wrestling's, for me at least, and for I think quite a lot of people has really taken a downturn.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It has been
the golden age is over.
Yeah, and they're trying to appeal to a mass audience now, or at least a different part of the mass audience, because they were quite popular through the Attitude Era. Because that as people if you show somebody who hates wrestling, because every time I say I'm a wrestling fan, they go, oh, you don't know it's all fake. Oh, you don't know it's just Two Sweaty Men's wrestling. I'm like, well, yeah, I know it's all fake. I know it's men wrestling. I watch the fucking show. You don't need to patronize, do you? But I mean, if you I could show them something of that Attitude Era, like something of like Austin in, and you know, unless it's a total douche, they'll say that's pretty cool. Because I've watched it. I mean, if you watch one like the old school openings for like Monday Night Raw with the really heavy metal music on, and the way they edit it with like all like chairs flying and just blood and gore, it goes really well. And I kind of think they are trying to I don't really know if they experimented or not, or if it's just kind of like I think they realise that there's a mass market with like the younger fans now, and that they don't really care about the older fans, and they're kind of alienating us, and more of us are kind of like turned off by it.
It's kind of like Capcom.
Yeah, exactly. WWE and Capcom, they're both useless, but
they should do a crossover. Tekken versus WWE. I'd pay to see that.
To be fair, actually, you could probably because the games I think are excellent. The WWE games. Yeah. I'm pretty sure people probably create like Guile and Chun-Li and Ryu Ken in WWE, and that's kind of funny actually. Like I've always if you just want to have like a little wrestling match between them, a hardcore street fight. But moving back onto the point, the way they're dropping the ball with Daniel Bryan, it's hard to watch because I mean I started watching wrestling about 10-12 years ago, and I've saw the evolution of, I would say evolution more the de-evolution of it, how it's sort of like how it's downfall. And
were you lucky enough to see the rise as well, like the rise and fall?
I've got to see how it's like sort of risen, because I mean it wasn't always the most popular thing. I mean, the way it kind of like risen in popularity in the 90s is quite admirable, and Vince McMahon was really clever then. But what I need to say is I started watching again in 2011. It was when The Rock returned. And I think a lot of people like my age kind of went, oh, The Rock's back, I'm going to watch it again. I started watching it and I realised this is nothing like it used to be, how much it had changed. And in the past 3 years, I think it's been very lackluster. And even the crowd, I've never saw a crowd like that unless it's been with Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, or Zack Ryder. What does that say, WWE? All I can say is sort it out, because it's not good entertainment anymore. It's not good television. The wrestling is guys like The Miz are getting pushes. The Miz can barely wrestle, man. I want to know. And I just read before, there's rumours that CM Punk has actually just left the company. A report from this is from CageSideSeats.com. The article says CM Punk gone from WWE after telling Vince McMahon he was going home. Don't know if this is just like it was back a few years ago when he kind of like had like, oh yeah, I'm going to leave the WWE, or if he because if it's on like a site like Cage Side Seats, I imagine it's actually legit and that he actually has properly moved left. And I think that's what I admire about CM Punk. He seems like if he's not happy with something, he will just kind of like speak out on it, and that's I hope this kind of like makes him think we're losing one of our best talents, because I think if CM Punk leaves, I don't think I'll watch it half as much, and I'm hardly watching it at the moment, because CM Punk's I think is the best on the mic at the moment and one of the best in the ring. So if he's not there, why should I watch it? You know what I mean? Anyways, let's move back into gaming news.
Oh wait, before that, so, since we're sitting here on a merry little island, have you heard about the plague ship that may or may not be encroaching upon our waters?
I saw you posted this article on Facebook last night. Actually,
it's a really interesting.
And one of your friends was saying how it's a load of bullshit.
Because they obviously overemphasize the story itself, but moreover, I was checking out a couple of different websites, and obviously it's media news, and it's not exactly the most accurate thing, and it's probably just scaremongering to try and get views, and clicks and stuff. But who distributed the article? Was it the Sun? Because the Sun are awful for like.
No,
it's the Daily Star. What are you talking about? No, anyway, I can't remember off the top of my head for that particular article, but I don't even think it was like a mainstream news thing.
Really?
I did check around, on a couple of mainstream. But anyway,
The Plymouth Herald.
aye,
Yeah, it's definitely not mainstream.
I know it's mainstream of Plymouth.
Yeah.
No, but-
Plymouth is like, that's a good few miles away from us. Like,
no, but when you actually look at the article, it seems that a ship that was, I think, it was being towed from Canada, from what I recall from seeing the news stories like last year. It was being towed from Canada, and the line broke, and I think it may be in the middle of a storm or something. And basically, the ship just went off all the radars, and nobody's been able to find it. It's just kind of been drifting around in international waters for a bit. And so the article's saying, oh yeah, it's probably full of diseased and cannibalistic rats at the moment.
yeah.
Which, in all fairness, yeah, it probably will be when you think about like they
And I
have
mean,
to eat each
it's
other.
in international waters, so who knows what illegal shit they're doing? You know, they're probably having poker games, they're probably doing drugs, they've got prostitutes, man. You know,
Crystal meth all over that.
yeah,
shit.
that's worrying.
I know, but it seems
Drug-induced
like,
horny rats.
oh god. No, but it seems like the ship itself might be drifting towards Britain from some reports that we may have heard.
Yeah.
And so we could look forward to that in the future, seeing a nice big old
And
Russian cruise ship.
where we are, up in sunny Newcastle, we're right next to the coast.
Luckily, it's meant to be either hitting Ireland, Scotland, or Devon. So we kind of narrowed it down a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as it, maybe somewhere in the south, I wouldn't mind. I'm sorry for all the southern.
Give it to London.
Give it to London,
They'll deal with it.
They'll deal with it, man. They'll have like the army out there probably to like. It's like a survival sort of like apocalypse type scenario. This, where you imagine like they have like the army out,
It's going to be 28 days later.
Yeah, man.
Nobody expected it, but it's going to happen.
The rat apocalypse. Move on over zombie films.
I was actually making my way into college the other day, and I was walking up the street, and there was a bunch of pest control vans. I must admit, I've never actually seen a pest control van in the UK before.
Really?
Yeah, I've never ever seen one about, and I've lived here for quite a while, my whole life in fact. And like walking past, I think it was like a shop or something. I don't know what it was, but like it was just this thick smell of like fur and shite, basically.
Wow.
So if that's coming from a single shop, you probably don't need sonar to detect the shit. You just need someone standing on the coast, sniffing in the air, and you'll be able to tell when it's coming within like 100 miles.
That sounds. It seems like quite a serious story, but it just seems so comedic at the same time.
It's like, oh god, these rats are coming.
Yeah.
Like forming a little human figure and driving the little boat along with the wheel and everything.
I don't like rats. I know I have saw one actually at one of the metro stations.
Yeah.
I was it was in Sunderland actually, which is if you're a international listener, Sunderland is like Newcastle's rival city. City. And we were actually sitting out at one of the metro stations. Going back home, thankfully, and it's a really funny story because I kind of looked at every single possible outcome. We used to be in the hospital, we're coming back, me and my brother, and a rat, and I mean it was a really big one actually. It was quite long,
like the size of a small dog.
I wish it was that big. It just kind of pops out of the out from the wall because just kind of beyond the metro station there was like a building being knocked down. Well, there's a few buildings, so obviously like a lot of rats that have to find new homes. And it kind of like it comes crawling out, and my brother goes, "Oh shit, look, there's a rat over there," and we're like, "Oh, that looks mental." Like I'm not really scared of him. Where's my dad is? So he would have hated it. We're just kind of like observing it, and there's like on the opposite platform, there's two ticket machines and a small gap through them, right? So what is this rat pattern doing? It goes directly down the gap, and I went to my brother. You know what it is, right? Some woman, some poor child or girl, right, is going to be like getting a ticket, and then boom, the rat comes out and they just shit themselves. And we started laughing about that because that was just such a funny sort of like scenario. Not for the person, but
the person might not see the light side of that.
Yeah.
No, I remember as a kid I went to a garden centre and I was looking after the dog standing outside because the dog would just go in and eat all flowers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, and there was like these overhanging bars across the garden centre and stuff, and my parents came back and I was saying to my parents, like, this is young me, so cut as a break, I was like, I saw some squirrels running around. They were like, oh, really? What sort? And I was like, I don't know, but they didn't have tails. Well, it turns out those squirrels weren't so squirrely. It turns out they were rats, and the entire garden centre was infested with rats.
Squirrels are apparently pretty bad as well, though. Well,
Have you heard about the black Canadian squirrels that came across?
It's I'm sure it's the grey ones which came from North America, and they kill all the red ones.
And then the black ones who came across, and they're killing all the grey and the red.
waves of like black squirrels, black Canadian squirrels, imperialistic conquest of Britain there. Actually, I remember I was walking through the cemetery. I was on the way to a gig, actually. I'm a musician.
Transition.
And I remember I saw it. I always see like grey squirrels around where I live, and there was one on the tree, and I was actually trying to get a video of it, but I couldn't. I was really gutted because I do find them quite interesting. And foxes as well, actually, because behind where I live is like a massive sort of like abandoned field area.
Sam, what does a fox say?
Fuck off. That's what he says. He says, fuck off. Oh, man. But I actually remember I was back in the summer about 2 years ago, and my friend invited us round to his because he used to live down the road. It was around 9 o'clock, and we're walking down, and there's just a fox in the middle of the street, and I see him every time I walk back from the pub. There's always a fox out in my sort of like neighbourhood, and it's funny actually. I remember the Raw 1000th episode. We stayed up to watch that because, I mean, it's Raw 1000, you know. And
was that any good or was it a disappointment?
It was alright. We had a good laugh. But I can remember, actually, a fox just ran through the street. And they're such amazing creatures. I don't like animals that much, but foxes are something about them because people are quite scared of them. But every time I see one, they kind of look at us, and I'm just kind of like, you know, I couldn't give a shit.
I don't and they run away. People are scared of them. They're just like little dogs.
Yeah, they're like, they're fine, you know. But to be fair, right, I would much be scared of like a Doberman or Rottweiler than a fucking fox.
If you just see a random Rottweiler run down the street,
I am gone.
I'm jumping on top of the nearest car, like, oh god, no.
Yeah, you're
asking the fox to protect you.
Yeah, because
what does the fox say? Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Off my deal, I will show.
Hey, that's an awfully cockney. Anyways, moving back on to game news, we have one more topic to discuss. We're just going to discuss Nintendo's recent new console. We're going to have Anthony, one of our interns, to come on board here. Anthony, would you like to come on over and...
Intern?
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are we expanding?
We are expanding, yeah. See, there's like the three of us here. On the podcast, we've got Anthony and Jake who are both working on stuff for the channel.
Things that will hopefully be arriving soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Next July probably. Yeah, let's not make it like the WWE Network, which got announced back in 2012. It is only getting released like next month, I think. 2 years. But anyways, Anthony, me and you're going to talk about the new Nintendo rumours of a new console.
Rumours are rumours, so there's not too much to these, but it's pretty widespread. There's rumours, 2 consoles actually, but
2.
What it is there's going to be, or apparently it's going to be the next console is going to be called the Nintendo Fusion Terminal.
Whoa, that sounds so.
That sounds like a tongue twister. To be honest,
it sounds like a shaving sort of thing, like Gillette Fusion.
Because it's the entire package is called Nintendo Fusion, and there's going to be a Nintendo Fusion Terminal, which is going to be the home console. Yeah. Nintendo Fusion DS, which is going to be the handheld.
Yeah.
And these are going to interact in some way.
Like the Vita and the PS4.
Yeah, but I think they're selling them kind of more as a package. I mean, they're going to be selling them separately, but they're going to kind of...
you'll be able to like get a bundle of them and sort of stuff.
Because you can buy the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita together for I don't know if it's a discounted price or not, but it didn't seem like that much actually compared to what I expected.
To be honest, the Vita, it's just price drop after price drop on that thing. So give it like 2 months and then buy one.
I'll probably pick one up at the end of the generation because there's a few decent games out. You know, same with the Xbox One. I
think it's going to die a slow, horrible death though. Even though Vita means life, which
well, my birthday is in 2 months, so if there's enough price drops, get us one.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, that's about the Vita, the name Vita Life. It's like the Dreamcast. We dream, and they get crushed by the PlayStation. Oh man, but no, I mean, the Vita is actually, I think I probably will buy one at the end of the generation. It's same as the Xbox One, unless they release Banjo-Kazooie game. Fingers crossed. Back on the Nintendo Fusion.
So this Nintendo Fusion has apparently got is twice as powerful as a PS4, which means obviously it's going to come out 2030. Because of Nintendo's general specs. But the thing is, people are a little not negative towards this. I think they don't really see this happening because of the power of the specs, but I can possibly see this happening because Nintendo want to change their strategy, really.
Yeah, I don't think they can I think the Wii U is it cannot compete with the Xbox One and
it's gone off on that weird thing where it's not last gen nor is it
this gen. Two in between.
The thing is, I believe the Wii worked because work has been in between because
it was all a gimmick.
Yeah, it was all a gimmick. Whereas the Wii U is kind of it's basically a Nintendo. It's basically a HD Nintendo console.
And we took away the gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, I like the gamepad, and as a Wii U owner, I personally, this is a little bit. I can kind of it is a bit of a piss take, but at the end of the day, it is business, and it seems like with the loss they've had, which we discussed last week. I do kind of get the impression that it does need to happen. I don't want to see Nintendo go out of business. So I'm in a position of, I probably will pick one up as well, depending if it actually is going to come out or not. But I do think, they do need kind of, reform the business strategies. And if this is what, the Nintendo Fusion's going to be, and I'm not really too keen on that name, I am all for it and I will pick one up.
It's meant to be twice as powerful as the PS4, isn't it?
Yes.
And God, that's going to be difficult to pull off because
it's got 2 processors.
Really? How much are they going to cost though? That's a thing.
I know that's going to be if it's twice as powerful as the PS4, then we're going to be talking about gaming PC sort of price.
Yeah.
Unless they outsource it all to sweatshops.
See well, you mentioned the name and you said you weren't keen on the name. Well. Yeah. The thing about it is, this is the main reason why these rumors came about, which is, I'm pretty sure, is that Nintendo Fusion is actually a name of a rock concert that Nintendo sponsored
2004 was it?
Yeah,
10 years ago.
10, 12 years ago. Yeah. And it had Evanescence and My Chemical Romance and all that crap in it.
Oh man.
But the Nintendo have recently kind of dusted off that URL. So if you don't think these rumors are going to happen and you don't think there's going to be a new concert, well, so there's going to be a new console, then you've got a rock concert to look forward to, I suppose.
Well, where's the information about the actual specs and something being twice as powerful? Where's that information coming from?
Well, I saw it on a Nintendo World Report, which is a Nintendo website for the Nintendo News, but it's been kind of parroted around, and I don't even know where the original source is, actually.
So is it just kind of like a leak sort of thing somewhere in the air?
Well, that's apparently what's happened. And I think it was Nintendo World Report, because they said it was from one of their reliable sources, which, you can always take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. It's one of those things which, what I can say is, as a Nintendo Wii U and 3DS owner, I hope, firstly, backwards compatibility has to have that.
Always will, I think, Nintendo. They've always had it since GameCube. So.
Yeah, I think they need to have. I like the Wii U, but I can see them stop supporting that if this happens. And I think it is a bit of a kick in the balls to the fans, but I don't know. They should. The coolest an ambassadors program where if you bought a Wii U at a certain time, you're kind of because in a way you did get screwed over, maybe they might be he has a discount, or when you get the console you might get a free game of your choice, or a few old school NES games, which being a Wii 3DS and Wii U on it, I probably own them all.
Didn't Wii U come out in 2012, didn't it?
Yes, it was November.
So I'm thinking this won't probably come out at least late 2016, 2017. So it's about the same amount of time between a GameCube and a Wii. So it's not that bad, I don't think, but it's not looking good to have this leak out so early, I don't think.
No, to be honest, I think Nintendo are going to be pushing it as well to have a thing this powerful getting released, considering how much they're eating through their emergency reserves of money.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be like a almost kind of last ditch effort to try and stop that from happening.
I'm not too negative about the distribution because Nintendo could always drop out of the home console market. That's because they've got that over the other two. Because the other two, while they would want to drop out, they don't want to drop out the home console market, but they can afford to because they've got everything else.
When you think about it, right? If the games industry was if they had like another crash like they did in that '83, if the games industry wasn't making as much money, Sony and Microsoft would be like, right, Xbox you closed, PlayStation you closed. They would close down the divisions because in the end of the day they are big corporations. Whereas Nintendo is a game company. This is Nintendo's only trade. Whereas Sony's
trading cards.
You never know, right? If there's a game industry crash, we may have the resurgence of Sega being our shining hero once again.
When you think about it though, right? That could happen because, like I say, right? If that is the case, right? Then because Microsoft's a software company, Sony's a hardware company. Them two will not, if they are not making a profit from their respective sub companies, they will not. They will close them down basically, and then you might get Naughty Dog games on a Nintendo console, so you get the best of both worlds. And I think if that was to happen, Nintendo would if they still could, if they had the money, they would stay by it. I think you could. You might see companies like Sega and maybe Atari, but there'll be. I think that maybe like another company who currently had never made a console might step in.
I'm just looking at the website you pulled up, My Nintendo News, and I'm just laughing.
Great
at this
website.
Biggest kick in the balls I've ever seen. Well, not ever seen, but Sony's about to buy out Nintendo's DRAM manufacturing plant for 7 billion yen. That's kind of like there you are, Nintendo. Go run off and play for a bit. We're going to take over this console.
Is DRM is copy protection?
That's DRAM.
Oh, DRM. All right, fair.
Thing is, right? If I could ever see like two companies partner up, because I remember somebody once went, the Xbox, Microsoft and Sony should partner up. I said no, they shouldn't.
I know.
So Nintendo should partner up with one of those companies. I would personally go with Sony. And to be fair, they actually were going to have a partnership. Is that what you were about to say?
I was going to say the PlayStation was actually originally called the Nintendo PlayStation.
Yeah. Imagine that though. And then when Nintendo fucked them over, and then the Philips CDI was born. That's karma for Nintendo.
But that wasn't. What it was is that Sony, Nintendo looked at the contract, and Sony basically were going to try and screw them out the rights for the characters.
Oh, right.
So Nintendo said, "Well, fuck that," and took it away from them. And I don't know. I think it kind of worked negatively and positively for both Nintendo and Sony. But what I'd actually like is if Nintendo did some sort of kind of half gaming PC, kind of like a Steam box sort of thing. Yeah. That would be pretty good.
But then you got to think, what's the audience for the Steam box at the moment? Because a lot of the people who'd be interested in the Steam box already have PCs. And then with we'll call it the Nintendo box, right?
Yeah.
If they brought out the Nintendo box and for it to be like a half kind of gaming PC, half console sort of thing, then it's really the only market they'd have is people who like Nintendo games and want to play Nintendo games, because that'll still be the only exclusive format you can get Nintendo games on.
Yeah, I totally do agree on that. Anyways, I think we're running out of time for today. Just before we'll get on the last bit, if you want to subscribe, please subscribe to the channel. Please share this, like it. We need it. We want to try and get ourselves out there, and there will be original content. James will be working on something called
Trilogy, Tragedy, or Triumph.
Yeah, and I'm doing something called the Unadventurous Gamer, and there'll also be top 10s, reviews. And when there's a new game coming out, like we'll be doing next month when FIFA comes out on the 21st or 28th, I think Donkey Kong Country to 21st, and for that Donkey Kong Country as well. Actually, we'll be doing like a live stream thing. On the game, it's like I think sites like Screw Attack do a lot, out of the box they do. We're going to do our own take on that, try to be original. But anyways, I just want to briefly touch on something, a bit of news which came up, kind of game related. Basically, very, very tragic. And I think, although we've just started out, and I actually really I'd heard of the person before, but I never really watched his videos. And obviously I never, knew the person or met him because we're in England, they're in America, and they're like a different part of the gaming community. But I just wrote a little thing here, and basically it's about a man called Wario. I think his real name was Justin Carmichael.
Aye.
And as we all know, YouTuber Wario sadly passed away last week. It's truly a sad day for gamers united around the world when part of our wonderful community loses a member. We here would like to we would all like to give our condolences to the friends, family, and fans of Wario. Rest in peace to Wario, and let's hope his videos live on and he has a legacy, because it's truly a very sad moment for gamers, and let's just hope things get better for his wife and friends and family. And leaving on that note, we'd like to thank you for listening today, and catch us next week.